3.
Come in, Dave, I suppose this time of being imprisoned by our circumstances, being in our own little monastic cell, means we were turned in ourselves to be with ourselves, to create something. And so for me, I thought that I'd like to articulate what prayer meant to me. And so I started an old book. And I just wondered if I could try out a passage or two on your ears. Pick up your prayer book. When I was growing up in the 1950s in Ireland, every Sunday morning, my mother would ask me the same mundane question before we left the house to hear Mass. Nóirín, have you got your prayer book? 60 years on, I still have this well-turned, dog-eared, tattered and worn-out little Roman Catholic tome. So 2 reasons prompted me to assemble this prayer pot that you are holding. Firstly, there is the sorry state of survival of my life prayer book. And secondly, my deep desire to create an interfaith prayer expression, to reach out to you, whatever your understanding of the divine is. Indeed, my now well-thumbed little red book was literally a lifeline for me when times in my life were struggles and endurances of loneliness and isolation. The weight of the world is very difficult for a young soul to carry. In the absence of these prayers within the now faded covers, my heart would have hardened, which is surely the greatest definition of so-called sin. Oh, that today you would listen to God's voice, harden not your heart. That's Psalm 50. The rich stillness of these prayers in my missal I carried in my memory when my whole being was turbulent and distracted with worry. Blaise Pascal, the French mathematician and theologian, wrote, "In difficult times, hold something beautiful in your mind." So read on and keep this little prayer book beside you to freely and at all times gather yourself and decide how to live the life you would love in the presence of your own best friend. May this book of prayers be that something for you as you pick it up and pray with it. Have you got your prayer book, reader? We Irish have always been good at praying. In Ireland, our scéalta bethe, our life stories are fused and enmeshed in God. Dia ila loisach, we say, which means that God is the essence, the core of every presence particle, the natural world, and you and I. Actually, a good friend of mine insists that you could not possibly be an atheist and carry on conversing in the Irish language. Prayer is our door into belonging to ourselves, our land, and each other. We reach out to the divine in ourselves and the sacred in the other. In the Irish language, to say hello and goodbye, we invoke the sacredness that is our essence. Dia chuit, I declare, as I stretch out my right hand to you. Dia is murachit, is your response. I often tell people in jest that I respond with Dia is mure is padrichit, and you take it one step further. Dia is mure is padrig is Joseph chit. God, Mary and Patrick and Joseph be with you. The conversation partner who has the best memory has the final say. And after this long length of time, sure, you're soul friends for life. Furthermore, when we bid farewell of one another, it is in and through a blessing. My mother's sister Auntie Kit, we called her, always waved us off home after our weekly visits with, God love ye now, God love ye now. And I have inherited this blessing to this day. In India, this divine recognition is beautifully realized in body prayer, along with a verbal greeting. Hands are joined and head bowed to bless the presence of the other, as we say the marvelous trisyllabic namaste or namaskar. The divine in me belongs to the divine in you. Louis Armstrong knew the invisible power of belonging with shaking hands. He proposes, I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.